battle die, kindred die, all things must die. So says the wisdom of Odin, your father, the Lord of Spears. This is not his law, it's just the way of things. It doesn't matter what a man can make, take or steal. He can keep none of it. He can pass it on to his sons, give it away to the poor, or burn it to the ground, but he can't keep it. Only one thing can he say is truly his, and that is his reputation, earned by his deeds, be they fair or foul. And by their deeds, some carve for themselves such great names as they will never be forgotten. And such a one was Ragnar. When the first longships came, they came for mere plunder, laying waste to our monasteries with fire and sword. But those that came after wanted much more than shiny trinkets. These were not mere raiders, but warriors, sword sharp, battle greedy, keen to challenge the might of kings. And of these Viking lords of war, the most famed was Ragnar Lothbrok. His life is a tale of bloody battles and gleaming prizes, but it's a story for another day. Let us say only that, quick to the swordplay, but ever canny in warcraft, Ragnar brought the king of the Franks to his knees and carved himself a throne in Denmark. But ever the grey waves sang to him and called him to more glory, and so he turned his ships and his swords towards the islands of Britain and came at length to Northumbria. In truth, I can tell you little of the life of Ragnar, for much of it is shrouded in half-truths and downright lies. But Ragnar's death is as much a part of his legend as his life, and of this I can speak truly. Monks may write their histories, having never ventured beyond their cloisters, and you may read these if you're able, or else you can huddle round a fire while some storyteller weaves tales of battles and heroes. But such men are great embroiderers, and the cloth grows ever more long and ever more colourful with each telling. There were few men who could speak of the truth of Ragnar's end, and none of them yet live save I. So listen, and I shall tell you of the last breaths of Ragnar Lothbrok, and how the fury of his sons and my own vengeance would cause thrones to tremble and crowns to fall. People think of Vikings as fierce folk who love nothing more than the play of bright blade upon shield's rim. But in truth, they're canny people who do not spend their blood foolishly. They would rather threaten battle than give it, and in making that threat grow rich on the fears of their foes. Likewise, those enemies would rather pay gold than lose men. And so Osbhert, the king of these northern lands, came in secret to meet with Ragnar and pay his Danegeld and buy his peace. And he comes now. That's Osbhert, in the front. And the big man just behind him is his half-brother, Aella. In case you're wondering, that's me carrying a royal standard. Just as proud as you like. And beside me, my own brother. Two young thanes who by luck more than judgment found themselves in Osbert's loyal bodyguard. Osbhert wore the dignity of his crown well, but he enjoyed little popularity with his folk. His half-brother, Aella, was a covetous man, but fierce and brave, and because of this, he was well liked by many of the warriors, including my brother. For my own part, I didn't care for Aella. I was surprised that God had chosen to make a snake that could walk. Ragnar stated his purpose clearly and without embellishment. Either Osbhert paid him a substantial amount of silver, or his men would lay waste to the kingdom. It was a statement, not a threat, and all the more impressive for it. He knew damn well Osbhert was going to pay, but the king wasn't going to hand over his silver without having his say.
Ragnar Lothbrok, I have heard your words and considered them. There are many in my court who would expect me to laugh at your offer and set my armies to the destruction of your fleet. I will say, I am tempted, but I have more weighty matters to attend to than pirates. Therefore, I will pay what you ask, and in return, you will give me your oath not to break the peace in my land or harass any of my folk. Instead, you will sail to the south and set your men upon the lands of the East Angles. Are we agreed?
Brother, this is sheer folly and can only be seen as weakness by your subjects. Ragnar's fleet is not so large as we expected. Let us seize this pirate now and send a message to all the Danes that Northumbria will not be threatened like this.
You forget yourself almost, brother. And as always, you mistake wisdom for weakness. These Vikings are a greater threat than you realize, and that is why I must buy time to prepare our defenses against them. Besides, in paying their Dane geld, I have also set them against our enemies in East Anglia. So it is a price well worth the paying.
You think you have set them against our enemies? Fool! They will be sailing there to ravage in any case. You give permission to a wolf to howl and fancy yourself its master. You bring nothing but shame to the crown you wear. But this is where that shame ends. Draw swords!
We should have guessed Aella's scheme. The arrival of more of his men showed that he'd always planned to break the truce and take the crown for himself. My own shield brothers had been bought with Aella's gold, and they turned their weapons upon us, save a couple who stayed loyal to Osbhert. Little good it did us. I don't remember much of the fight that followed. I took a few wounds and fell, still shocked at the betrayal of our kin. Osbhert sacrificed my brother to save his own worthless hide, and so the king of Northumbria fled like a whipped dog into the night, with my brother stretched lifeless on the cold earth. I lay sorely wounded, left for dead, and watched as Ragnar's men were cut down all around me, until only the old warrior was left. A grey wolf surrounded by snarling dogs. There was no fear in his eyes, just a grim smile on his lips as he gripped his sword and waited to be sent on his last journey to the halls of the slain in Valhalla.
He's definitely dead, I think.
I'm sure you will hear stories as to how Ragnar Lothbrok died. But I, who was there, left for dead in the fading light, could tell you only what I would later tell his sons, that in his final moments, Ragnar was denied a sword in his hand so that he could not make his final journey to Valhalla. I can't say exactly what grisly fate befell Ragnar Lothbrok, but amongst his screams and curses that echoed through the night air, I swear I could hear him laughing.